welcome to another episode of Codo Cinema, the podcast show where I talk about movies. I'm your host, Mark Codo, aka Codoman. Well, folks, we are still into 2026 and we got another movie to talk about. However, this time alone, I brought my brother Mike back on board for the 2026 year for Codo Cinema. Mike, welcome back.
Hi, Mark. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you too. Now, so anyway, for the movie that we're going to talk about for today's episode, um, we are going to talk about a movie sequel. Now, this one obviously came out in 1998, and believe it or not, there is a sequel to the Blues Brothers movie titled Blues Brothers 2000.
Another Blues Brothers film.
Yes, that is right, folks. We got another Blues Brothers movie, which came out in 1998, directed by John Landis, who directed the original movie that came out in 1980, and he co-wrote the screenplay alongside Dan Aykroyd, both of whom were also producers. Plus, Dan Aykroyd is basically Elwood Blues. And of course, starring alongside Dan Aykroyd, John Goodman also fills in the role as well. And the film serves as a sequel to the 1980 to the nine and the film serves as a sequel to the 1980 film The Blues Brothers, and it also includes cameo appearances by various musicians. Alongside Dan Aykroyd and John Goodman, we got Joe Morton, J. Evan Bonifant, Aretha Franklin, James Brown, B.B. King, and of course the rest of the members of the Blues Brothers band.
That's a huge cast.
Yes, that is a huge cast, but also a huge playlist of musical numbers. And this movie, I'll be honest, this movie has more musical numbers than the first movie. If anybody is new to the podcast, welcome to Codo Cinema, the podcast show where I talk about movies. If you're listening to this on YouTube, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button for more content. And if you are listening to this on Spotify and Podbean, don't forget to hit the follow button as well. So, with that being said, let's give our background on Blues Brothers overall.
Yes, we actually enjoyed the original Blues Brothers that came out in 1980.
Yes, the original Blues Brothers, it's basically a classic. And I'll be honest, it's basically, in my opinion, a love letter to Chicago. Ferris Bueller might have done that too, but so did the Blues Brothers.
Yes.
The sequel, let's be honest, I don't think anybody was asking for a sequel. And to back this up, the sequel was not as good as the original movie. In fact, just to tell you, it has a 46% Rotten Tomatoes score, and then of course Metacritic weighed the film 48 out of 100 based on 23 critics and earned a D score from Entertainment Weekly, while Roger Ebert of the Chicago Sun-Times gave it 2 out of 4 stars. Writing, and I quote, Blues Brothers 2000 has a lot of good music in it. It would have had more if they left out the story, which would have been an excellent idea. The film is lame comedy surrounded by high energy blues and some pop, rock, and country music. While Cinema Score gave the film an average grade of B-.
Not a bad grade.
I mean, not a bad grade, but you could definitely tell that this movie was not that good.
No, it wasn't as good as the first one.
No, it clearly is not.
And this is honestly one of John Landis's weakest films that he has ever done.
Right.
Because prior to that, this is during the aftermath of the trial of the helicopter accident.
Right, and I think part of that helicopter accident that he had with Twilight Zone the movie kind of overshadowed a little bit of that movie, but at the same time, it wasn't really John Landis's fault on this movie though. Neither Dan Aykroyd.
This was his final film to direct. The Blues Brothers 2000 was John Landis's last film to direct.
Right. Now here's the thing. What made the original Blues Brothers a great movie is that it had its unique blend of legendary R&B soul music performances, over-the-top comedic chaos, spectacular stunt work, especially the car chases, and the effortless chemistry between stars John Belushi and Dan Aykroyd, all wrapped in a quirky mission from God plot that serves as a love letter to Chicago. I mean, yeah, exactly, a love letter to Chicago. Now, why the sequel didn't work, because it lacked the original grit and charm of what the original movie had, the irreplaceable absence of John Belushi, who played Joliet Jake, a misguided attempt to broaden appeal with a PG-13 rating, and a child's sidekick named Little Buster, an overly shiny, less coherent plot, and a general feeling that it was an uninspired rehash lacking the original's mission from God stakes, despite featuring great musical numbers. And that's the main thing about this movie. Like, this movie lacked the charm, it lacked the gritty charm of what the original movie had, despite having good musical numbers. Now, that's the only thing I could get out of this sequel is that the musical numbers were good. These are
Yes,
good musical numbers. Like everybody's here for the soundtrack. I mean, which is not a bad thing, but it completely overshadows the story.
it does. I mean, I also love the performances too. They all did very good.
I think despite what the movie was given, I feel like everybody did a pretty good job with the performances, despite the writing that they were given.
Yes, and it's sad that this movie did not do well in the box office, neither with critics.
No, it didn't really do too well. But I feel like this movie is getting some recognition in pop culture. But let's be honest, this movie is not going. This movie will never top the original Blues Brothers movie.
No, it's not gonna top the original. The original holds up so well.
The original movie holds up so well, not even the sequel can overtake that. And it's upsetting and it's sad too because I think the idea behind a sequel to the Blues Brothers is good, but as a result of it, but of course, many people but of course, where do you go with this? Where do you go with the Blues Brothers?
Yes,
Like
exactly. Where did you go with this?
like I mean I don't mind the idea, but I feel like you got to think for yourself. Where do you go with the duo?
Just
How much more adventure do they have? What's more could there be for Joliet Jake and Elwood Blues?
just like Aretha Franklin when she did the song, you gotta think.
Right. Now, now just to go to production of this movie, shortly before John Belushi's death, a sequel to the Blues Brothers have been considered. John Landis revealed in an interview, and I quote, "We always intended for a sequel with John, but of course, when he passed away, it was obvious we weren't going to do it. But Danny had been performing with John Goodman and Jimmy Belushi, or Jim Belushi, I should say, with John Goodman and Jimmy Belushi and the band, and he said, "You know, this is great because this music is recognized now. Let's do a movie." I said, "Great, sure, okay," and rewrote what I thought was a terrific script. Then Universal Studios eviscerated it. That was a strange experience because the first thing they said was that it had to be PG, which meant they couldn't use profanity, which is basically cutting the Blues Brothers' nuts off. The first movie is an R-rated film, but there's no nudity or violence in it. It's just the language. Then they said, "You have to have a child. You have to have." The bottom line was the only answer that movie was going to get made was to agree with everything they said. You know the difference between a brown nose and a shithead. Depth perception. That's the only time I never really fought with the studio because they didn't really want to make it. So we did every single thing they said. By the time we done that, the script was kind of homogenized and uninteresting. Danny said, "It's about the music. It's just about the music, John, so don't worry about it. We'll get the best people, we'll make a great album and get these people on film. We have to document these people. It's interesting because as much as I make fun of Danny, 3 or 4 of those guys have passed away since we made that movie. People say, okay, you've got Aretha Franklin, Ray Charles, James Brown, Cab Calloway, and John Lee Hooker in the Blues Brothers. Who's in Blues Brothers 2000? The answer? Everyone else. The first movie has 5 musical numbers, and the second movie has 18. End of quote.
18 musical numbers?
Yes, 18 musical numbers. So the musical numbers. So this movie added a lot more music compared to the first one. And on top of that, and I'm just gonna be honest, this movie's is basically a music album. This is basically a music album rather than just your typical Blues Brothers movie.
Yeah.
I mean, like the music to me, the music never stops.
No.
It never stops.
It keeps going.
It keeps going and going. Like you're basically watching an MTV music video.
I mean, I'll be honest. The sequel, The Blues Brothers 2000, the musical numbers is all over the place.
Right. And look, the musical numbers are not bad. It's just that there's so many of them in one movie, and it never stops. The musical numbers never stop. It never takes a break. And look, Mike and I, we're both musicians.
Yes, we are.
We are both musicians. I play violin, Mike plays alto saxophone, and we have seen this movie, by the way, just to let everybody know. So we have seen this movie, and my goodness, like you're in it's just we're in it for a ride, but at the same time, it's like, what is this?
Yes.
What is going on with this movie?
Now, you're probably wondering, how do we get pulled into the Blues Brothers 2000?
Well, apparently this movie aired on the VH1 TV channel last week, and we ended up watching it. At first, on the channel guide, I mean, we on the channel guide, it said Blues Brothers. It actually said the original Blues Brothers, but apparently it switched to Blues Brothers 2000.
Yeah, I mean, what?
Yeah. So yeah, we ended up watching the Blues Brothers sequel, and I'll be honest, I feel like they had a good start with that opening, but it kind of went downhill after that.
It did.
Now, of course, Jim Belushi was originally going to appear in the sequel to Blues Brothers as Brother Z Blues, but apparently he was committed to the ABC drama Total Security, so he was unable to appear, and the script was altered to include Cab Blues, being played by Joe Morton. And of course, the character was named after Cable as an homage to Cab Calloway, who died 4 years prior to the film's release. Like, the movie opens up with a dedication to both Cab Calloway, John Belushi, and John Candy. Now, John Candy played one of the he played one of the police officials in the first movie.
Burton Mercer.
Burton Mercer.
Jake's parole officer assisting the police in their hunt for the Blues Brothers.
Okay, so the parole officer then. So John Candy played the parole officer in the first movie, so it's both dedicated to John Candy, John Belushi, and Cab Calloway. Just to back this up, for what I said in that quote that John Landis mentioned, John Landis and Dan Aykroyd were reportedly very unhappy with the changes from the studio forced onto the film, even coming close to quitting the project. Shortly after production wrapped on Blues Brothers 2000, Landis began work on the independent movie Suzanne's Plan as a way to cleanse his palate. In fact, the original story pitch for the film had Elwood, Mighty Mac, and Jim Belushi's character, Brother Z, raising money to refurbish their old orphanage. Aykroyd later admitted that the studio had been right to reject this pitch, as it was virtually identical to the story of the original Blues Brothers movie, but felt that their decision to instead make the film more fantasy based and aimed at younger viewers ensured that the final product wouldn't be a critical and commercial failure.
Well, even though it is a critical and commercial failure.
Yes, but I feel like they knew right away that this was not going to work. Like the first pitch, I feel like the first pitch they should have realized that this is not going to work.
No.
It felt like the first movie. Like and this the final result of this movie kind of is because coming to think of it, it is a little more it has much more of a it's PG-13 and it has a bit of a PG-13 feel compared to the first movie. And while in the sequel they're not really raising money for an orphanage, they're doing this battle of the bands
Mm-hmm.
with the kid.
Yes, the kid named Buster.
Right, named Buster. But I feel like now look, this is not really John Landis's fault since both Landis and Aykroyd had a fight with the studio, but apparently the studio forced them to do these changes, so it's not really their fault. But I gotta at least give them some credit for at least trying to do something, even if it failed in execution.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I feel like they should have at least thought of like, okay, this is not gonna work. Let's scrap it.
Yes, they should have scrapped the film.
But let's be honest, the original film was popular.
Yes, taking place in our own backyard.
Right, in Chicago. Now it would have been interesting. Now this movie probably would have been a lot more interesting if Jim Belushi was on board. But of course, he had to work on the he had to work on the others. He had to do but he was committed to the TV show.
Mm-hmm. Also, Dan Aykroyd reportedly lost 90 pounds to reprise the role of Elmwood Blues.
Yeah, pretty much.
I can definitely tell, like in the opening of the movie, Dan Aykroyd lost 90 pounds
Mm-hmm.
to get back into the character of Elmwood Blues.
Right. Anyway, with that being said, let's talk about this movie, shall we?
Yep.
So the movie opens up 18 years later after the events of the original Blues Brothers movie, and I'll be honest, the opening for this movie is actually pretty good. It kind of at one point it kind of sets the tone. It definitely felt very sad a little bit.
Yes.
Knowing what happened, because now to anybody who knows, John Belushi died of a drug overdose back in 1982, and I believe it was around that time that Landis and Aykroyd were trying to come up with an idea for a sequel with John Belushi prior to his up at least up until his death. And the music, the opening number for the opening number for the scene is John the Revelator, and let's be honest, it definitely hits home, knowing the fact that we don't see Joliet Jake.
Nope.
Like Joliet Jake has moved on, and of course Elwood realizes that, and of course coming to the realization later that Elwood realizes that Jake is gone.
Yep.
He patiently stood by the road waiting for Jake to pick him up, but Jake never comes.
Also, Frank Oz is in this movie too.
Yes, Frank Oz, who now plays the warden, tells Elwood, who waits a whole day outside.
Oh my goodness!
Are you kidding me? He waits a whole day outside for Jake to come.
Yes.
Like, dude, this movie opens up with Elwood waiting for Jake. Remember how the first movie opens up? Like, it
Yes.
took its time.
Mm-hmm.
It took its time because it was Elwood waiting for Jake to be released for prison. Now it's Elwood waiting for Jake to pick him up.
Mm-hmm.
And also to mention too, the singer Taj Mahal, who sang "She Caught the Caddy" in the first movie, sang John the Revelator in the sequel.
Really?
Yeah, yeah, it's the same guy who sung "She Got the Caddy" in the first movie.
Oh.
Yes. And of course, so anyway, after a whole day, the warden notices him and informs him that Jake died while Elwood was in prison. Instead, a woman named Matara who comes to pick up Elwood. Matara works for the Blues Brothers' former drummer Willie, who is now the owner of a strip club. Willie is happy to see his old friend free again and offers him a job as a house musician, but refuses when Elwood asks him if he is interested in reuniting the band.
So a stripper club, right?
Yes, this move, yeah. So Elwood goes to a stripper club. And keep in mind, we are going to come back to that strip club, by the way, because there's someone who actually went inside that club with Elwood.
Yes, we're gonna get to that soon.
We're gonna get to that soon. We're gonna get to that soon. So Elwood goes to visit the Penguin. Sister Mary, being played by Kathleen Freeman.
Well, she was very happy to see Elwood.
Right, she was happy to see Elwood, who now works in a hospital, and she tells him that the old orphanage has closed, and that Curtis, the orphanage's custodian and father figure to Jake and Elwood, has died. Has died. The orphanage is gone. Jake is gone.
Curtis.
Curtis is gone. And now Elwood has not. Basically, he has nothing.
He has nothing. He's done.
He has nothing. He's done. He's at the lowest point of his life until. And at that point, he took the Lord's name in vain, and Sister Mary just pulls out what looks to be a metal whip or something, or an antenna. Looks like she had a car antenna. Doesn't that look like a car antenna a little bit?
Kind of does look like a car
It
antenna.
just smacks Elwood with it. Because let's be honest, this is a nun that he's talking to.
Yes,
It's a nun. It's a Catholic nun that he is talking, that Elwood is talking to. So you better be careful with the choice of words you're saying to a nun. Be careful.
That's right, folks. Better be careful.
Even Curtis is like, guys, you gotta learn not to talk to nuns that way.
Uh-huh. He's got a point.
Yep. Elwood wallows in self-pity, not now knowing he has no family left. That's true. No past, no future, nothing. Sister Mary is having none of it, though. She tells Elwood that Curtis had an affair with a married woman and sired an illegitimate son, so Elwood still has, in a way, a foster brother. Even at one point, Elwood, it was like, oh, Curtis, oh, good for Curtis. But Sister Mary just like smacks him again with the antenna. It's like, oh, shucks.
Goodness.
Because Curtis banged up a married woman.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was not good. And that was before he came to the orphanage, by the way.
Yep.
So, however, she says this man knows nothing of his real father and advises Elwood against contacting him. And she also introduces Elwood to Buster, a 10-year-old troubled orphan, and suggests that he be his mentor. Neither Elwood nor Buster are enthusiastic about the idea.
And you want to know who was originally up for the role of Buster?
Who?
Macaulay Culkin was considered the role of Buster.
Yeah, and Buster's the kid until someone else stepped in. It was a different actor.
Yeah, it was a different actor. Oh, here I found it. J. Evan Bonifant.
Yes, J. Evan Bonifant.
Yeah.
That's the kid who played Buster.
Yes, even Elwood calls Buster a wise ass.
Yeah. The fact that that Elwood called Buster a wise ass. Yeah. Yeah. Even Sister Mary didn't take that kindly.
and then Sister Mary was like, "What did you say?" And then Elwood says, "Hey, he's a very nice kid."
Well, that's kind of a nice call. That's a funny callback to the first movie where Jake was losing his shit because Jake told the penguin. Well, this was after she told the two that she's gonna be that the board was going to like that telling after the penguin told the Blues Brothers that the orphanage was going to shut down and she was going to move to different countries, and Jake was like, $5,000, no problem. But the penguin was like, no, I will not take your filthy stolen money. And Jake was like, well, I guess you're up shit creek.
Ooh.
Yeah, and yeah, that's a funny little callback, but at the same time, though, still, you gotta learn not to talk to nuns that way.
Right.
So anyway, Elwood visits a used car lot and spots a former police car. This one, a black and white Ford Crown Victoria. The owner, Melvin Gasperon, asks $500 for the car.
$500.
$500, yeah. Try that with Biff Tannen.
With $300. Well, actually, before that, they were gonna go to the library.
Right, they were just gonna hang out at the library, but
While outside, he was like, "Okay, kid, you wait here while I go pick up the car."
yeah.
But Buster says, "I thought you don't have a car." And then Elmwood says, "I'm working on it." So he's working on it.
Yeah, he's working on it. So anyway, Elwood, with Buster accompanying him, goes looking for his foster brother against Sister Mary's advice, hoping he would lend him the money. Elwood finds the man, Chamberlain, being played by Joe Morton, to be a commander in the Illinois State Police. He tells Cable about Curtis offending him. He also asks him for a loan and asks him if he is interested in joining his band. Cable calls his mother to ask him about Curtis, and she is taken by surprise and does not deny it. And Cable, upset by the news about his real father and outraged by the requests made by Elwood with his long criminal record. And yeah, he talks about the criminal record. Even when he first came in, Elwood was covering his face, like the like Chamberlain asked to like remove his glasses until he sees the mugshot photos, and he was like, okay, okay, I get it, I get it. But this is where he goes into the long list of records that not only Elwood committed, but also the rest of the Blues Brothers did. Grand larceny. Like grand larceny, for example. And then there was another one. Their their longest police pursuit that they ever had.
Yeah.
And then, of course, not to mention, Elwood had his driver's license suspended. I don't know if that was ever brought up.
I don't know, but he floors it. He
Right.
actually floors it, which is obviously a red flag.
And then, of course, he mentions like damage and mentions damage that costs up to $24 million.
Yes. Also, another trivia. In one scene, Joe Morton mentions that when the Blues Brothers last performed, they caused damages costing $24 million, which was the budget of the Blues Brothers 1980.
That's very interesting, right there.
But it went up to 27.5 million.
Right, it went up to 27.5 million, so that budget kind of ballooned.
So it will not cost $27.5 million today.
Right, and then a bunch of other criminal records too. And Cable has had enough. Cable has had enough. Elwood was like,
I think you need a hug.
yeah, you're gonna get a hug from the police chief. He got his hug. He kicks him out of the station and tells him to not come back
Yeah, but then Buster shows up,
and steals the wallet.
and then the police officer was like, "Are you okay?"
Mm-hmm.
Well, to Buster.
Right, just to make
Well-
sure that he's okay.
Well, the police officer accidentally dropped his wallet, and what Elwood just steal? $500.
Yes, that was $500 he stole. So anyway, Elwood pays for the car, but also returns the wallet, but keeps the cash it contained. While Cable files papers to have Elwood arrested for the theft, Elwood returns to Melvin's car lot to buy the car, which is to become the new Bluesmobile. Melvin says he's moving to New Orleans, and the two men wish each other well.
Yes, and also this one scene where another the nun showed up, playing another nun showed up, and she was wondering where Buster is. They are searching the grounds and they still can't find Buster. And then Mother Mary's reaction. She says, Elmwood.
Yep,
With the
yep, Elwood with the antenna. So now, yeah, we got another criminal record. Now there's another record being made. There's another record being made.
Yes.
Theft and I guess child kidnap.
Oh
Like,
my
what is
goodness.
this? Like, this is PG-13, right?
Oh my goodness. I see red flags right there for
And
Elmwood.
Universal put this kid in. Universal did this just to put this kid in.
I'm seeing red flags right there for
Yeah.
Elmwood.
So anyway, we cut back to Willie's strip club. Yeah, I was in line. We were gonna go back to that club, and Elwood notices Illinois Russian mobsters piggy up protection money. He remarks to Willie later that this is not right. Willie sympathizes but does not dare challenge the mobsters. And by the way, Buster is in this strip club. He walks
Oh.
with Elwood inside the strip club, and you could see the exposure from all these women, doing those strip dances.
Oh my goodness.
So Universal forced Landis and Aykroyd to put this kid in this movie, not even realizing that they're gonna have him walk inside a strip club.
He's 10 years old.
Yes, he's 10 years old, not even realizing what the hell is going on.
Yeah.
Also, to mention, too, Buster covered his eyes.
Well, actually, Elwood covered Buster's eyes.
Well, that's true, yeah. But you gotta be asking yourself, is this scene necessary for a little kid?
I mean, that movie should have got an R rating.
That point should have, yeah. If anything, they should have kept the R rating like the first movie had.
Yes. I mean, come on, Universal. Also, another scene that also came in was when this police officer finds the wallet. What is it, Calb's?
Cable. Cable, yeah.
Cable's, where this lady officer finds Cable's wallet.
Right. And that's where he decides to press the charges.
And there's also a note, too. Cap, thanks for the loan, my little brother. Think about the band, Elmwood, with the crucifix.
Yep.
And of course, he wasn't very happy about it. He wants a statewide felony theft warrant put out on Elwood Blues.
Mm-hmm. And the officer who talked to the chief said, "What instrument do you play?"
What did he mean? What did he mean calling you his little brother? But he's not having it.
Yep, he doesn't buy it. So anyway, yeah, we're back at the bar. We get to see Mighty Mac being played by John Goodman, and I'll be honest, like the chemistry between Aykroyd and Goodman. Look, there's not that much chemistry in this movie between the Blues Brothers band.
Yes, and on top of that, during the performance, they brought in the strip girls.
Yes, because there was a musical number where they brought in where they brought in the girls, and Elwood and Mighty Mac are singing.
I mean, seriously,
this is PG. Seriously, are you sure? Seriously, this is PG-13.
Yeah, come on, Universal.
Like, okay,
oh my goodness.
Okay, so anyway, when Willie is not at the club, Elwood and the bartender Mac get the Russian mobsters falling down drunk. Like, Aykroyd sits with the Illinois Russians, and they were basically singing this Russian like song. Just they're basically having the time of their life, right?
Yeah,
they're basically kind of like having the time of their life, even though they're drunk.
Oh my!
Like they're singing in Russian. Please, Mr. Frost, please don't freeze me. Please don't freeze me. Please don't freeze my horse. That's what they were singing. I mean, like what? Like what? Like you could definitely tell they were basically drunk.
And then Elwood asks help for Mac, and he says, "Mac, you got a minute?"
So anyway, They took them out to the alley, steal their clothes, and leave them bound and gauged in an alley with a note warning telling them to stop shaking down Willie. And when the mobsters are reunited with the rest of their gang, they vow to destroy the strip club in retaliation for the slight.
So they actually put the strip club on fire.
Yes.
So that must be the Illinois Russians.
Illinois Russians. Remember, we had we had the entire Chicago Police Department, Illinois Nazis, Bob's Country Bunker Band, and Carrie Fisher going after the Blues Brothers. And what do we get in this sequel? Not just the Illinois police, but almost like Kentucky police, Mississippi police, Louisiana police, any police station from the other states, by the way. And then you also got Illinois Russians, by the way,
and including the Confederate guys, the guys from the Confederate.
Right, we get to see Confederate guys. Like that, the first movie had more people compared to this movie.
Oh my goodness!
That first movie had more groups going after the Blues Brothers than the first movie more than the sequel.
Not to mention, going back to the Blues Brothers, you also got the fire department, the fire squad, the
National Guard,
the SWAT team. Oh my god!
I'm pretty sure all the extras in that movie got paid.
Yeah.
But anyway, another night, Elwood invites Mac on stage with him to Willie's mild chagrin, but Mac proves to be a talented singer. I mean, John Goodman, he's actually pretty talented. He definitely's got a good singing voice.
I mean, John Goodman, he's a good actor.
Good actor. I mean, very good actor.
I mean, he would. Not to mention that. Speaking of Universal, he was in the Flintstones.
That's true, Flintstones. As Fred Flintstone.
And of course, he would go on to voice James P. Sullivan in Monsters, Inc.
And I think he sung, he and Billy Crystal sung the, I would have not, I forgot the name of the song in Monsters, Inc., but Nothing If I Didn't Have You. I think that's the name of the song. If I Didn't Have You. There we go. I think that's the name of the song that both Billy Crystal and John Goodman sang.
And it also won an Oscar for Best Original Song.
Right, at least for that movie. So anyway, during that moment when Mac was singing, several members of the Russian mob or Russian mafia, whatever you want to say, show up with machine guns and order everyone out of the building.
Well, they did get out of the building.
They did. They shoot up the place and set it on fire.
Oof. That's not good.
No. Elwood, with Buster still in tow, escapes along with Mac and Willie through a rear window. As they climb into the Bluesmobile, one of the mobsters recognizes Elwood and they chase him in another car with their machine guns. Mac drops some nails out the window, puncturing the Russians' tires and causing their car to crash. Willie has now lost his livelihood and agrees to play music with Elwood.
And of course, all the police officers showed up, seeing the building being torn down.
Yep.
And firefighters, too.
Yeah, firefighters, too. So now, Mac and Buster, including Elwood, now in suits like Elwood's, come along for the ride. And yes, they put the kid in a suit. And and Elwood is telling all of this with a 10-year-old kid. Like, let's be honest. You have a 10-year-old kid traveling with grown adults, mind you.
Yes.
These are grown adults that he's going with, who was inside a strip club, by the way.
Yes. I mean, why bring in a 10-year-old kid in a strip club?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's just stupid. And in fact, he's going in, he alongside with Elwood and Mighty Mac, they're being pursued by not only Illinois Russians but also the police force as well.
Yes.
That's child endangerment right there, if you ask me.
Yeah, but Elwood didn't know about this.
No, Elwood didn't know about this. I'm pretty sure the execs at Universal didn't come to think about this either.
Yes, I feel like Elwood Blues should have known better.
Elwood should have known better, but yet again, this is how the movie was written.
Yes.
So anyway, they locate Matt the guitarist and Blue Lou at Matt's Mercedes dealership. This time, Matt's wife approves if someone grudgingly of Matt and Lou rejoin the band.
You also got Aretha Franklin.
Franklin gets a cameo in this movie, and she sings the song
Respect.
"Respect," which actually, come to think of it, it comes out abruptly.
Mm-hmm.
It plays abruptly, so to say.
And I'm pretty sure those are the same three ladies from that restaurant or dining or the diner.
Mm-hmm. And here's the thing about now that musical number is good, but here's the thing: in the first movie where Aretha Franklin was singing "Freedom," right?
Yes.
And she was telling Matt, "You better think about what you're doing. You better think about what you're doing, and you better think about what you're doing." And then it cuts real quick to "Freedom," right?
Yes.
I mean, it was like a quick transition, but it made sense. This one felt pretty. This one, respect. The transition for respect felt really abrupt
Yes. I
and
feel.
out of nowhere too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but still, the songs are still good.
Yeah, the songs are still good. I mean, how many songs? We have so many songs in this movie. Now, of course, I mean, obviously enough. Aretha Franklin, Matt's wife, Matt's wife agrees, right?
But you gotta give credit to Aretha Franklin. She did a fantastic
Oh
job
no,
singing.
she did good singing, yeah, and everyone was singing along too. So anyway, just a minute. So anyway, they were able to get so they were able to get the other members working at a radio station, and they readily agreed to rejoin the band.
Oh, also before that, before that, before they go to the radio station, she actually mentioned this to Elmwood
Really?
and to everyone else. She says, "You boys, please stay out of trouble this time."
Oh, I'm sure they will. Oh, I'm sure they will.
I'm pretty sure there's going to be a lot more trouble for Elmwood than everyone else.
More like for Universal Studios when they made this movie back in '98.
Yes, and now we cut into the radio the WEXR Chicagoland Talk
Yep.
radio station, I should say.
Yep.
And so, and then you got two guys on board and the radio station, which is Dunn and Cropper.
Dunn and Cropper, and I'm pretty sure there's someone else in the station too.
On the WEXR 103.7 Talk Radio. So these two are doing a radio show.
Right, they're doing a radio show, and they actually got Elwood, and somehow Elwood comes on board to bring the back to bring them back to the just to come back to join the band, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, "Hey, did you all hear that? It's Elwood Blues. No place to run and no place to hide."
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, just to move forward, the last member is Mr. Fabulous.
I'm pretty sure, was that the same guy from the restaurant?
Yes, it's the same guy from the restaurant who's now a funeral director. They find him in a cemetery holding a funeral for one of the Russians.
But this leads to a question. How did he move? How did he become a funeral? What was it called?
Funeral director.
How did he become a funeral director?
I don't know. But like Elwood said, the Lord works in mysterious ways.
He's got a point.
Actually, that's the main quote for that movie. The Lord works in mysterious ways. Like, remember the quote in the original movie, "We're on a mission from God"?
Yes.
The quote in this movie is, "The Lord works in mysterious ways."
Uh-huh.
Well, actually, that line has been brought up before. If you watch the director's cut of the original Blues Brothers movie, Elwood mentions that line to Jake about the number that he got from one of the band members, and Jake was like, "How did you get this?" And Elwood was like, "The Lord works in mysterious ways."
Oh.
So it's not the first time you hear that line.
But I feel like we never heard the line in the sequel.
Not as much. You don't hear it as much in the first movie, but you hear it more in the sequel.
Yep.
So yeah. So anyway, Mr. Fabulous initially resists rejoining the band, but Elwood and Mac loudly made remarks that make the Russian mobsters think that he is planning to rob the grave.
Rob the grave, and he was like, what's his name again?
Mr. Fabulous.
Mr. Fabulous was like, so that's what this is all about? Forget it. Goodbye. And then I was like, hey, Mr. Fabulous, what time do you want us to come back?
And grab the rings and watch off the corpse.
Oh,
And they all heard it. And what about the deal? And what about the deal with the medical college for his dick? Mighty Max said that.
and the Russians saw it.
Oh
no!
yeah, they pissed. Oh, they pissed off the Russians now. That never. Let's be honest. In the Blues Brothers situation, it's the Blues Brothers. They're gonna pull off some crazy shit. But I would not. But don't do this at a funeral.
No, don't do that.
Unless it's the Blues Brothers doing it.
And the Russians saw it, and the guy was pointing. He was like, "That's them!" And then we're dead now.
Yet the Russians draw their guns, and Mr. Fabulous flees with the rest of the band members.
We're dead now. And then the icing on the cake is where the crazy music plays in the background.
Yeah, we got crazy music playing in the background.
Oh my goodness.
So anyway, with all the surviving members reunited plus Mac and Buster, the band goes to see their former booking agent, Maury Sline. Maury suggests they enter in an upcoming Battle of the Bands contest in New Orleans and sets up a gig for them to play on the way there at a county fair in Cynthiana, Kentucky. In the Bluesmobile and an additional car, the band leaves Chicago. Meanwhile, no one at Sister Mary's Hospital has seen Elwood nor Buster for a week, and they start to think Elwood has kidnapped Buster. They go to the police, and the FBI gets involved. Elwood's description gets passed to police agencies in neighboring states.
Oh, really?
Yep. And here's a funny thing. We get to see Bob's Country Bunker once more.
Yes.
Which is now retitled Bob's Country Kitchen.
Also,
in Kokomo, Indiana.
Not to mention, the kid is sleeping in the back of the trunk.
You mean in the trunk of the car?
Yes.
Like, I'm not kidding. This movie gets crazy when watching. Like, there is a scene where Buster is sleeping in the trunk of a car. He's got his own bed, including drawers, a small TV, and what looks to be a lamp.
Yeah, I mean, oh my
Like, how?
God.
Like, how does that work? That is not what a car trunk looks like.
Also, books. You got 2 books.
Yeah, 2 books and a clock.
A TV.
I mentioned the TV already, but shit, man.
I'm pretty sure Buster is tired.
Yeah, he is tired.
Because he was in for a long journey.
Oh my goodness. This movie doesn't get that much crazier than this. So anyway,
did you mentioned the Bob's Country restaurant, right?
Yeah, Bob's Country Bunker.
And
And of course, a trooper with the Indiana State Police happens to spot the car there, and the police enter to arrest Elwood, but he is able to create a diversion and escape with Mac and Buster, with Elwood covering himself with shaving cream,
oh my goodness.
pretending he's like this, pretending if Elwood has like a literal attack.
Yeah. Or similar to something like a bacteria.
Yeah, puffball bacteria. It's contagious. Stop.
Yeah, much like the abominable snowman or a snowman.
I don't know, but anyway.
And then Bob sees the other guys in the restaurant, and he was like,
Wait a minute. Don't I recognize you folks from somewhere?
"Oh, I'm pretty sure he does."
He does. He knows it's the Blues Brothers.
Because they actually came in. They came in.
They came in. And Bob thought they were the country band.
Like the good old boys.
You're the good old boys.
What? Oh, wait a minute. You are not the good old boys. You're the Blues Brothers. Yeah. You're the good old boys.
So anyway, all the band members escape by asking for a check. Apparently, the police set up a massive roadblock at a bridge over the Ohio River the next day between the borders of Indiana and Kentucky. And Cab was there, and he was like, this Elwood Blues is a decent. This Elwood Blues is a menace to decent people everywhere.
Then they will get him, sir. That's a
You know,
promise.
I have every lawman in 2 states on this border. Let him just try and get through
The roadblock.
the roadblock. And somehow he does. He
Well-
does. He does. He literally does.
Well, he doesn't cross the roadblock.
He doesn't cross the roadblock, but what he does next is that Elwood, Mac, and Buster are inside the car with their windows up. They drive straight through the river as if it was a submarine, and no crap. The three of them survive. I'm telling you, that car will not survive underwater.
No, it won't.
It would not survive underwater. Even I don't know if James Bond has a car that will survive underwater, but this car for the Blues Brothers, oh my goodness, they would not survive underwater. Those three would have been in a coma. Actually, Buster's probably would have been worse.
Yes, he would have died underwater.
Possibly drowning. And of course, they reach the Kentucky side. They interrupt a meeting of a bunch of redneck militia groups with Confederate flags, by the way.
Oh my god!
So they crossed the southern border, by the way, and accidentally destroyed their boat, which was filled with explosives.
Oh my goodness! What is with this movie?
I also add insult to injury. Mac was like, "Do you hear something?" Ella was like, "Nope."
Nope. And of course, the Blues Brothers. They saw the car, the Blues Brothers, showing up wet, and they're about ready to shoot them. But one of the members were like, "No, don't shoot! You'll hit the boat. You shot the boat." And well, actually, before that, Mac was like, "Hey, you guys have a picnic?
They're not having a picnic.
This is just a gathering."
It's just a gathering. It's just a gathering, though.
And then, but this one of the members was like, "Don't shoot! You might hit the boat."
But apparently they hit the boat.
Because the boat's on top.
Boat's on top. They sent the boat flying in the air and it lands on top of the group.
Mm-hmm.
Did you hear something?
Nope. Well, it's just an explosion.
Yep.
Well, by the time they leave, they just shot the boat, and then they started running away, and then killed one of the members.
Yep.
So
anyway, the police are still looking for Elwood's car in Cynthiana, so they painted white before arriving at the county fair. The rest of the band in the other car arrives before Elwood's car and only then discover that they are expected to play not blues, but bluegrass. Also to mention too, Mighty Mac is driving the car and we see Elwood's face inside the glove compartment.
oh, I'm pretty sure they used CGI.
They probably did.
Although I could be wrong. Kind of reminds me of Coneheads a little bit.
Yeah, because Dan Aykroyd played the husband of the Coneheads.
Yes, if I'm trying to give to reach contact with one of the Coneheads from space. Like not like one of those phones, but something like that.
Mm-hmm. Also to mention too, we got songs. I forgot to mention the songs, right? So you got John the Revelator. You got John the Revelator played in the beginning. Then you got Born in Chicago, The Blues Don't Bother Me, Harmonica Musings, Cheaper to Keep Her, Perry Mason Theme, Looking for a Fox, I Can't Turn You Loose, Respect. And then you got this other, you got this musical number from Steve Cropper and Eddie Floyd, 634-5789, and for Soulsville, USA. That's the name of the song, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got Maybe I'm Wrong, which is another song they play. And then this would definitely transition to Riders in the Sky, a cowboy legend, which was actually written by Stan Jones, but this song was actually played multiple times from different artists, most notably Johnny Cash.
Mm-hmm.
But now it's the Blues Brothers who are singing this song.
And I'm going to be completely honest. This is obviously one of the best songs.
And actually, in my opinion, I think this is the best scene to come out of this movie, where Elwood, Mighty Mac, and all the rest of the members are singing "Ghost Riders in the Sky." This is actually a bit of a callback to back at Bob's Country Bunker, where all the members were singing
Rawhide.
Rawhide. Now they're singing "Ghost Riders in the Sky"
And the clouds came in.
because a storm was coming.
I feel like that's CGI.
Yes, it's completely CGI. We also get CGI cowboys in
And-
skeletons in Ghost Rider forms, and of course
The running of the bulls.
the running of the bulls as well.
They're all skeleton-like creatures.
Right. Like they sing "Ghost Riders in the Sky," and quite honestly, this is actually in my opinion, probably the best songs, probably the best, and in my opinion, the best scene to come out of this movie.
Yes, and I don't know how they did that, but that's pretty amazing.
For 1998.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, let's be honest. Good thing that was not Nicolas Cage doing it.
Nope. Well, for Ghost Rider, in
Well-
the Ghost Rider movie.
Right. At least not for Blues Brothers. So anyway, to the delight, and everybody everybody at the fair enjoyed it. And this was basically used as a distraction for the police, by the way, including one of the Illinois Russians.
And then the rain stopped. Rain just dropped, and it actually melted the paint of the Bluesmobile.
While Elwood is using a remote control to get the Bluesmobile over here.
Yes, and one of the Russian guys, or the redneck mafias.
Actually, he's a Russian.
One of the Russians were about to kill someone.
I think they were about to kill Elwood.
They were going to kill Elwood,
and he got struck by lightning.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, these guys are playing in the storm. By the way, hey, the show must go on, right?
Yes, yes. The Russians was about to kill Elwood, but that didn't happen.
So anyway,
And then
everybody, and also Buster grabs a harmonica and plays for the first time.
Yeah, but
And Elwood is impressed with him.
uh-huh.
However, the police are still moving in, so Elwood uses a remote control to guide the Bluesmobile to the stage. As soon as they were done playing, they cram into the car and flee, abandoning their instruments. And the chief screamed for Elwood's name, Elwood! And they all got away.
Yeah, but so to the Bluesmobile.
Yep, to the Bluesmobile. Dun-dun-dun. So anyway, the band continues south, but they run out of gas somewhere in Mississippi. Some of the band members walk toward the nearest town and find a tent revival meeting where Reverend Cleophas James, being played by James Brown, from Chicago, will be preaching. Elwood knows Cleophas and hopes to ask him for gas money, so they sit down for the service.
And of course, inside the church, it says, "Praise the Lord."
Right. Meanwhile, one of the other band members goes in a different direction and is able to obtain gas by himself. The police catch up to the band at the tent, and Cable Chamberlain among them, attending to arrest Elwood. And this was during the musical number John the Revelator. This was sung by the choir.
This happened in the opening, but now it's with the choir.
Right. And Cab was going to arrest them, and he was like, "Those men are criminals and they're coming with me."
And they are under arrest.
Until the Reverend shows up.
Being played by James Brown.
Yep. And he says, he who is without sin cast the first stone.
Amen. Say it again.
Say it again. You tell him, Reverend. Everyone is telling the Reverend. You know he's talking. The Reverends are talking to Cab, right?
Yes, for are not all men alike in their boundless capacity for sin?
And everybody in the room was like, yes. Everyone's saying yes. They're preaching, right?
Yes. Even the Blues Brothers said it. Can you not forgive? Yes.
Oh, Blues Brothers! Wow.
Whoa. Can you not embrace those who have wronged you?
It says something when the Reverend preaches volumes, right?
Yes, oh Lord, forgive me. But you don't want to forgive your brother who see you every day. Look to yourself for the redemption you seek.
This is like the callback to that first movie where, Jake, how the Lord's light shines down upon Jake, you know?
Yes.
And he sees the band. The band. Yes. 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 Now instead of the light, it's basically Cab floating up in the air through the tent and into the sky in an obvious green screen.
Oh my goodness. Well, actually, before that, they keep going on the talking. Like, and acknowledge your own precious blood. They keep talking.
They
Acknowledge your own precious blood. I want you to evoke. It's calling in the blessed name.
and Cab feels it, much like how Jake felt that in the in the first movie too.
So the line that they both said, invoke the calling of the blood.
I think it's his. I think he's referring to the bloodline or something. I could be wrong. I mean, I'm not.
The calling of the blood. They both said it. They keep
They,
going.
they keep saying it until he understands. Because keep in mind, this is Curtis's supposed son, right?
And adding a little attention to detail, there's a little light right on top of the hat.
The light is shining. The little bit of light is shining down, but the thing is, he floats in the air, levitates
with the Hallelujah song.
With the Hallelujah song, and Cab through an obvious green screen. Yeah, you know it's a ridiculous green screen, but roll with it.
Yes.
It's just that it's like Cab comes to understand this. He's like, yes, I understand. Yes, I hear the calling. I understand it. And
the calling of the blood. Yes, I finally understand. I totally, absolutely, cleanly, positively understand. And he said this.
This is Cab's God-given destiny. And once he said that, he went from his police uniform to the Blues Brothers uniform. And of course, he sings along.
Yeah, but doing the flip.
Doing the flip, just like what Jake did.
Yes, and at least they didn't mention the line that Elmwood says. You know the line from the first one. You gotta make that move towards redemption. You gotta go to church.
You gotta make that move towards redemption. You gotta go to church.
Ugh.
Yeah, you know that line, right? Yeah.
They didn't put that line.
No, they didn't put that line. But anyway, the police force now believe that Cab has been brainwashed, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
it looks like he has given another chance.
Yeah, so the remaining band members bring the freshly gassed Bluesmobile to pick up at the rest of the group. Dozens of police cars from at least 4 different states chase them. At a road construction site, Elwood jumps over some heavy equipment in the Bluesmobile, but the pursuing police cars crash into it, allowing the band to escape. By the way, Elwood told everyone, don't look back. Everyone proceeds to look back.
Yeah.
And
well,
there were many hundreds of police cars crashing into the construction site.
104 police cars.
And it beats out 103 from the first movie.
And of course, not to mention since we're still on the subject of the trivia, there was another movie that also broke the record.
What movie?
The record was not broken until 112 cars were wrecked during the filming of G.I. Joe, The Rise of Cobra, that came out in 2009.
Oh, wow.
So yes, you think 104 cars were wrecked isn't enough during filming? Try 112 cars that were wrecked during the filming of G.I. Joe, The Rise of Cobra.
Yeah. So anyway, the police think that Cab is brainwashed. So the band finally arrives in New Orleans and goes to the mansion of Queen Mozette to audition for the Battle of the Bands. Yeah, this is a fantasy now. This is a complete fantasy right now.
Oh my.
This is a complete fantasy. We went from a musical comedy to a musical comedy fantasy movie.
Yes.
This is not Labyrinth, guys.
No. It's not Labyrinth. This is the Blues Brothers.
Blues Brothers. Why are we going on a fantasy? We're doing with this fantasy subplot now.
Now they're going to New Orleans. Is that right?
Yeah, New Orleans, which I don't mind for Battle of the Bands, but now this is basically a fantasy story for the rest of the movie.
This is way before The Princess and the Frog that came out.
Yeah. But anyway, Queen Mozette was reputed to be ancient, ugly, and cannibalistic, but the band discovers she is none of these. She asks them to play Caribbean music. Elwood protests that music is not a part of their repertoire, but Mozette puts a spell on them and they play the music requested. So she puts a spell on them.
And then they all turn green.
Yes, they all turn green. Mozette is impressed and invites them to compete the next day, but Elwood, Mac, and Cab are transformed into zombies until their turn comes up.
I'm pretty sure none of them turn into the Hulk.
Nope, none of them turn into the Hulk. So, anyway, a large crowd enters the mansion to see the Battle of the Bands. The band that goes before the Blues Brothers is called the Louisiana Gator Boys. Anyway, the Louisiana Gator Boys are in this movie. Although I wouldn't mind this Battle of the Bands. Actually, you know what? A Battle of the Bands movie with the Blues Brothers, that sounds like an awesome idea. Blues Brothers versus the Louisiana Gator Boys.
Yes.
That sounds a lot better. That would stick better than what this sequel had. They could have at least built up to the Louisiana Gator Boys much better.
Yes.
Like, you know, if they wanted to make it this a fantasy movie, that's fine, but at least try to build up. This feels like it's put in last minute.
Yeah, I mean, why Universal? Why?
They want to make this family friendly, I get it. They want to make this family friendly, but at the same time, it's not going to work.
No.
Now, just to go off topic, I'm going off topic. This movie fell victim to being a sequel where it went into family friendly territory.
Mm-hmm.
They did it with the Santa Claus 2. They did it with Ghostbusters 2. They did it with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Secret of the Ooze, and now this.
Yeah, I mean, why?
I don't know.
Just to make it more kid friendly?
This is not a kid friendly movie, by the way.
No, this is not.
This is not a kid friendly. This is not a kid friendly movie, guys. This is the freaking Blues Brothers.
The frickin' Blues Brothers. And this, even though this sequel, now I would say it's ridiculous.
The sequel is ridiculous, but we had a lot of fun watching how ridiculous this movie is.
Yes, yeah.
So anyway, just to move forward, actually, coming to think of it, going back to the movie, Isaac Hayes provided the vocals for one of the Louisiana Gator Boys. Isaac Hayes played the chef in South Park.
Isaac Hayes?
Yeah. He does vocals for the Louisiana Gator Boys in this movie.
Really?
Yeah, he does.
Oh my goodness.
So anyway, you got Let There Be Drums, Season of the Witch, which I'm pretty sure Season of the Witch is where we get actually no, Funky Nassau. Funky Nassau is basically our introduction to Queen Mozette. And then you got How Blue Can You Get, sung by the Louisiana Gator Boys. And then, of course, you also got Turn On Your Love Light, sung by the Blues Brothers. And then New Orleans, sung by the Louisiana Gator Boys and the Blues Brothers.
There's also one more song that was added in during the post-credits scene.
What song?
The end credits scene.
What
which
song?
Is written by James Brown. It is Please, Please, Please.
Please, please, please?
Yes.
Really?
This was sung at the end of after the credits were done.
Yeah. Actually, you want to know something? You want to know how long this soundtrack is?
How long?
60 minutes and 29 seconds.
60 minutes? That's gotta be an hour.
That's a full hour movie.
Well, the movie's 2 hours and 3 minutes.
Movie's 2 hours and 3 minutes, and yet they have a full hour of musical numbers.
Yes.
I mean, for a composition score, that's fine, but for musical numbers, but for a Blues Brothers movie, I mean, I guess you could say stage adaptations kind of did that too.
Yeah.
I guess it makes sense, but whatever. But anyway, a large crowd enters the mansion to see the Battle of the Bands. The band that goes before the Blues Brothers is called the Louisiana Gator Boys, and they include, among others, Melvin Gasparon, the man who sold Elwood the car. After they play their number, the zombie spell is removed from Elwood, Mac, and Cable, and the Blues Brothers take their turn. The MC asks the audience to cheer for their favorite band, and the Gator Boys are declared the winners.
So the Gator Boys won.
Yes, Justin, the Russian mobsters, and the redneck militia both arrive at the mansion looking for Elwood. Huh, the redneck militia. Where were those guys after the explosion?
Yeah, I mean, they survived.
They survived.
Well, because one of them got killed. One of them got killed.
Right, so they're out for blood.
So yes, they're ready. They're ready for blood.
So, but of course, Wilzette intervenes and casts a spell, turning both the Russians and the rednecks into rats.
I don't know how they did that, but
That seemed I don't know how she did that, but that seemed that sounded underwhelming.
yes, well, they don't want any trouble. They just want. They just they're just here for the Blues Brothers. You know, just give us the Blues Brothers. Russians.
I told you them some bitches were communists. That's true because the Russian. Oh yeah, that's right because they did mention. Oh yeah,
Here's the redneck mafias.
yeah, the redneck. So anyway, the redneck militia mafia showed up, including the Illinois Russians, and they're basically wanting to get those sons of bitches, but apparently Madame Mosette turns them all into rats.
Yep. Well, the first goes to the Russians.
First one goes to the Russians. Even one of the members of the militia was like, "You try any of that bougie crap
On me.
on me?" And Mosette was like, "Oh, you want some? Here you go." Turn them to rats. Underwhelming, but still though.
Yeah. Oh, rats.
Oh, rats. So anyway, let's wrap this up anyway.
And then the police officers showed up.
And Sister Mary arrives too to find Elwood, Mac, Buster, Cab, and the rest of the band still jamming.
Yes, they were going to like shoot. She was going to shoot them, but Cab was like, "I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm with the band now." I mean, see,
Yeah.
he's okay. So she put the gun down.
So she put the gun down, the police officer, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, and everyone else. I'm pretty sure everyone was happy to see Elmwood.
Mm-hmm.
The members of the band were happy to see Elmwood.
Yeah. So then, of course, Cable assures them that he is all right, but the police still suspect Elwood of kidnapping Buster, while the rest of the band members continue to play. Elwood and Buster slip out and drive away in the Bluesmobile, still pursued by the police, toward an unknown fate. And actually, before that, Buster says something, "If I go back with them, they'll put me in some foster home." At this point, I feel like a foster home would have been good. And of course, he also mentions with people who don't love me, they put you back in jail. I think at that point, yeah, they were going to put Elwood back in jail, but at the same time, I mean, let's be honest, Elwood has an extended criminal record now.
Yes,
At this point,
he has.
And he brought Buster down this road.
Yeah, and I find that's not good.
That's not really a good sign because of the fact that they dragged him on board. But
with a 10-year-old, with a 10-year-old,
yeah, a
Really?
10-year-old boy, yeah, with
Really?
a 10-year-old kid.
10-year-old kid joining the band.
I mean, I don't mind the kid joining the band, but he's 10 years old.
Yes, I feel like for the actor who plays Buster, I say he did a fantastic job
He did
playing the part.
He did a real good job. At the same time, it's like the execs over at Universal was like, yeah, we're gonna put a 10-year-old kid in your Blues Brothers band. We don't care. We don't care if we're gonna have a bunch of police officers, Illinois Russians, the militia men coming after the Blues Brothers band. Have him sleeping in the trunk of a car with an actual bed, you know. And of course, a thunderstorm, among many other things going on, voodoo witch doctor and stuff. Yeah, that kid won't have any harm. This kid is right there, folks.
Yep.
This kid is right there witnessing all of it.
But before he left, the kid says, "We're all brothers, right?"
Yeah.
And he says, "You guys stay here and distract him. I'll kidnap Elmwood."
So the kid kidnaps Elwood? Um,
I don't know.
are are you? I'm
That is
the
what the kid said.
yeah, but the Universal execs forced them to.
Yes, and they said good luck, and Cap said good luck to you. And then Max says, "We'll see you up on the road." And then Elwood says, further on up the road."
Well, apparently their fate is unknown. And the last thing, and of course, Buster says, well, Buster says something. Well, you're right, Elwood. The Lord works in mysterious ways. And of course, actually, that's actually funny. How the rest of the Blues Brothers band members are wearing blue outfits. You know, get it? Blues Brothers. Wink, wink.
Yep. So Buster and Elwood are on the run for the police officers, and Buster says, "The Lord does work in mysterious ways, Elwood."
Yep.
So, yep. So, kind of does. It did work, but the police officers are still on the run. Put on your seatbelt.
Yep. And that's how the movie ends. There's no crazy car chase in the like the first movie had. There's no crazy car chase after that. That's how the movie ends. The movie ends pretty abruptly.
Yes, I mean we don't know what happens to them. Did uh, did Elwood go back to jail, or did and Buster ended up at the foster home?
Yeah, we don't know what happened to them at the end of the movie. It feels I feel like it's left up to the audience to decide, but at the same time, really, it just feels anticlimactic at the end. But
Yeah,
that's the whole movie, guys.
you got the names of the cast. They're all still enjoying the performance of the Blues
All
Brothers.
right.
And of course, there's also an end credit scene.
End credit scene. What's the end credit scene? What's the end credit scene?
This
Oh, so Mighty Mac and Elwood are still at the tent, huh?
Yes, they're still at the tent, and the name of the song is "Please, Please, Please."
Please, please, please.
Yes, yes, it's written by James Brown.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the text, written by James Brown, John Terry, performed by James Brown, Lori's Martinez, background vocals, Dan Aykroyd, John Goodman, Amy Christian, Martha High, Lisa Rushton, and Cynthia Moore, courtesy of Scotty Brothers Records. And then all the police are still there on the road.
Oh my goodness, this movie. Oh my goodness, that movie. So many songs in this movie, guys.
Yes, that is how the movie ends.
So yeah. Okay. Yeah. So anyway, there you have it, folks. That is our take on the Blues Brothers 2000.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness. Mike, what did you think of the sequel?
It's so ridiculous.
I agree too. I think that's the way I'm gonna say it about this movie. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous of how far this movie went, knowing the fact of where it all started. I mean, yes, in retrospect, it is kind of a bit. It is a bit of a carbon copy of the first movie, a little bit minus the kid. But at the same time, like there's definitely it's ridiculous, and I guess for the most part, you'll definitely have fun with the silliness of this movie. But this is a movie where this movie should not have this movie should not have happened.
No, this sequel should have existed.
I mean, the idea was there, but I think at the end of the day, they just wanted to do a cash grab. I mean, if you guys like this movie, hey, that's totally fine. I respect you guys if you guys enjoy this movie. That's totally fine. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, if you like this movie, hey, by all means, that's fine.
The soundtrack is awesome.
Like the soundtrack alone is really good. I mean, that's probably the reason why this movie existed because of the soundtrack.
Yes.
And the Blues Brothers themselves. In fact, Dan Aykroyd actually said something in an interview that that prior to the release of this movie, he actually said this back in 2024 when he had an interview with Rolling Stone. He said the second movie is a small G good accompaniment to the first. He also mentioned that he is glad that he also said and I'm glad we did that story. And I wish Jimmy Belushi had been in it, but everybody was good in it, and it was fun. I think that's a good way to say it too, from the point of view of Dan Aykroyd. It was fun. Everybody was having fun with the sequel.
But I feel like Jim Belushi would have been in it.
If Jim Belushi was in it, I think the sequel would have. I believe the sequel would have been a lot more fun. Maybe not in a great way, but in a decent way too.
But if Jim Belushi was in it, I would imagine a better reception. Like, I would say not the same, but different.
Yeah.
But there's also another thing to mention. In a 2023 interview, Jim Belushi stated that Aykroyd had kept pitching him several ideas for a third film, such as a female-centric film where Elwood mentors a group called the Blues Sisters, and a film where Elwood finds Jake's long-lost biological brother in Albania. I mean, another one?
Another one?
I mean,
I
don't know.
I don't know. I think one movie is good enough, but yet again, we got the sequel. So
yes.
I don't know, man.
And it's sad that this movie did not do well in the box office because Universal wanted to do a sequel.
I think Universal shot themselves in the foot on this sequel.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, I feel like all the cast members did a fantastic job with their performances. Dan Aykroyd, love Dan Aykroyd. He did a fantastic job coming back to playing Elwood Blues. John Goodman, on the other hand, he was very good.
Mm-hmm.
Don't you agree?
Yeah.
And the actor who plays Buster also did a fantastic job as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like they were shoehorned with the writing.
Yes, the writing and the studio interference was obviously the reason why this movie didn't do too well.
Yeah, so also the other members, the Blues Brothers band, the whole cast, they all did a fantastic job of coming back.
Right.
They were able to give everything they got.
Mm-hmm.
And this was, even though I mentioned John Landis, the filmmaker, this was one of his last movies to direct because he took a downfall in his career. But up until Burke and Hare, to which it did not do well with critics or audiences. So I feel bad for John Landis.
Yeah, but other than that, I think overall, not a great movie. But I think it's not a great movie, but it's like a movie that is so bad it's good.
Yeah,
I think that's the way to put it right there.
Well, it's a fun and ridiculous musical comedy film.
Yeah, but I believe that wraps it up. So that is basically about it. So there you have it, folks. That is our take on the Blues Brothers 2000. So to anybody who is listening, what did you guys think of the Blues Brothers 2000? Did you like the movie? Did you not like the movie? Have you seen this movie? Do you think this movie is okay? I would love to hear your thoughts.
Mark, I'm glad I was able to join you for another episode and talk about another Blues Brothers movie.
Yep. Obviously enough. This is obviously the last Blues Brothers movie. I mean, I don't know. Maybe down the line they might do something else, but we'll see.
Yep.
But in reality, I feel like they should have left this. They should have left it alone. One is already good enough, but
yes,
we'll see.
Yes, the sequel should have been left alone.
Yeah. But other than that, that will be a wrap for this episode.
Yeah, thank you for having me on board, Mark.
You're welcome. And thank you all for tuning in to Codo Cinema. I'm your host, Mark Codo, aka Codoman.
I'm Mike Codo.
Remember to watch movies and stay positive.
Hit it.